Ladies and gentlemen, we will commence the program shortly. Therefore, we would like to take this opportunity to remind you of the following housekeeping measures. Kindly follow appropriate health and safety protocols such as always wear a mask, wash your hands regularly or apply hand sanitizer frequently, and keep a safe distance. All crews and talents involved in this program have followed strict health protocols and obtained negative COVID-19 test result. Before the event starts, I would like to invite you to be seated. You may find our ushers are ready to guide you to your seating. Find Rebox, a pop-up recycling booth at the foyer area. Rebox is a vending machine that eats your plastic trash and transforms them into points by our ecosystem. Thank you.
Ya, betul. Materi. Bentar ya, mau nyoba PPT dulu nih.
Enggak, aku mesti cek juga kan? Oke, sip, aman. Hah? Udah. Oke.
Oke ya, saya on ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will ask you to enter the room since the program will start shortly. Once again, please enter the room since the program will start shortly. Thank you.
Di prompter aja ya. Mas Anu. Mas Anu. Aku paling bocoran di sini aja. bawah aja bang. Cobain sini. Next. Full screen, full screen. Siap, siap.
Taste with me the salty tears on my cheek. It's what a year-long headache does to you. I'm not okay, I feel so scattered. Don't say all that matters, leave me deja vu. If you need me, you wanna see me, you better hurry, 'cause I'm leaving soon. Sorry.
Jakarta Investment Center has served more than 50 project facilitations, ranging from infrastructure, transportation, water management, and environmental sector. Through a one-stop integrated services, we provide easier permit and licensing application for you to grow your business. Jakarta Investment Center is ready to serve you in making your investment process hassle-free.
As the largest megapolitan region in the Southern Hemisphere, Jakarta is and will remain as Indonesia's economic powerhouse. With a suite of professionals from multiple levels of Jakarta's provincial government, the Jakarta Investment Committee specializes in formulating policy solutions that are genuinely win-win for all stakeholders.
Jakarta Investment Center and Jakarta Investment Committee were established by the Jakarta Capital City Government together with Bank Indonesia as a regional investor relations unit. We strive to actively communicate regional economic policy and address the concern of investors, especially in terms of financial and investment climate. Together, we are committed to optimize investment growth across Jakarta. And we are excited to do more.
By working together with you
In building a better Jakarta. Come and grow with Jakarta.
Invest now, invest Jakarta.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome to Excellencies, distinguished panelists and delegates, investors, ladies and gentlemen. I am Megan C., Director of Partnerships of Ecobusiness, and I will be your moderator for today's thematic discussion with the theme, Improving Jakarta's Waste Management Through Circular Economy.
We have just seen a glimpse of how Jakarta has been actively improving and promoting green investment initiatives in Jakarta through Jakarta Investment Center and Komite Investasi Jakarta. Jakarta Investment Center and Komite Investasi Jakarta's strong efforts has resulted in numerous collaboration with global counterparts. Jakarta Investment Center is ready to serve you, potential investors, in making your investment process hassle-free. With that, we appreciate you taking your time off your schedule to join us today. Before I introduce our very distinguished panelists, allow me a few moments to set the context of our discussion today. Minimizing waste by deploying resources optimally, the 3R method should be applied in all economic activities. This can provide a way to not only protect the environment, but also utilize natural resources more wisely, develop new sectors, create green jobs, and develop new capabilities. Without any optimum waste reduction, the landfill is predicted to reach its maximum capacity by 2022. The Jakarta capital city government is currently developing an initiative to manage the local waste through intermediate treatment facilities, or ITF in short, with a capacity of 7,400 tons of waste-generated electricity conversion per day by 2025. Waste management sectors offers numerous business opportunities both domestically and globally. Therefore, collaboration from all sectors is expected to support Jakarta in transitioning into a circular economy onwards. So what initiatives and regulations are there in managing waste and catalyzing the circular economy in Indonesia? What are some cutting-edge technology available to optimize Jakarta's waste management? What are some business potentials in the waste management supply chain in Jakarta? I definitely do not have the answers to all these questions, but today, with my very distinguished panelists, we will get these answers to you. So without further ado, I'm now pleased to welcome on stage our first distinguished speaker, Mr. Afan Adriansa Idris, Assistant to the Provision Secretary for Development and Environment. Mr. Afan was appointed as the Undersecretary for Development and Environmental by the Government of Jakarta in 2021. How are you? Thank you. He assists the City Secretary in coordinating the formulation of policies and controlling the implementation of tasks in public works and spatial planning, housing and settlement areas, land, environment, forestry, green space, and cemeteries. Mr. Afan and his team are also involved in intermediate treatment facilities and refuse-derived fuel are some of the development projects that they are undertaking. With more than 24 years experience working as a civil servant for the city administration, Mr. Afan was previously assigned as Division Head of Planning, Development and Development Monitoring at the Regional Development Planning Agency from 2017 to 2019 and became a head of the Bureau of Development and Environment from 2019 to 2021. We have our second distinguished speaker, Mr. Muhammad Bijaksana Juniro Sano, or Mr. Sano, initiator and advisor, Indonesia's Circular Economy Forum. Mr. Sano is well known for his work in the waste management sector, and ever since he was in high school, he had a non-stop ambition to create a greater realization of the waste management system within the implementation of zero waste to landfill throughout the country. His passion towards the waste management and circular economy led Mr. Sano to initiate some organizations to be part of the solution in solid waste management and the circular economy in Indonesia. Currently, he is appointed as an initiator and advisor for the Indonesia Circular Economy Forum. Next, we have distinguished speaker, Mr. Ernest Christian Lehman, CEO of Rico System. Ernest and his friend Joshua founded Rico System in 2018, leading the company as CEO and COO respectively. The company initially focused on processing organic waste into renewable energy, but rebranded it into Rico System a year later to focus on responsible waste management to create a sustainable ecosystem. Rico System converts organic waste into biogas and inorganic waste into recycled material and renewable energy. The company uses technology to track its waste, process it for waste data mapping, reporting, and improvement. From its launch in June 20 to 2021, Rico System saw a 60% month-over-month organic growth, managing 5 tons of waste in January. Its users as well grew to over 1,000 households in February, and it's recently launched Rebox, an IoT-enabled drop box for plastic packaging waste in public places, which will be gradually installed at MRT stations as well. Finally, but not least, we have Ms. Nurdiana Darus, Head of Sustainability and Corporate Affairs of Unilever Indonesia. Ms. Nurdiana is the Head of Sustainability and Corporate Affairs of Unilever Indonesia, where she focuses on advocacy and collaborative work across multi-stakeholders on various sustainability agendas. Prior to joining Unilever Indonesia, she was involved in many sustainable land use sector initiatives and had held senior leadership roles, including as Deputy Minister of the Indonesian government's National Red Plus Agency, CEO of Landscape Indonesia, Southeast Asia Director of the Rainforest Alliance, Executive Director of the Indonesia Palm Oil Pledge Platform, and Senior Manager at Accenture. She is also on the board of advisors of the Sustainable District Platforms. With all that very mouthful, I'm sure you know of the exciting discussion we'll have coming up. But before that, we're going to have each speaker provide a presentation on the topic at hand today, and I'm very excited to hear what all of them have to say. So for now, I'm very, very glad to invite Mr. Afan up onto the podium to present his slides.
Hello, good afternoon, Megan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this good opportunity, please allow me to bring my presentation about the Jakarta commitment and readiness on waste management. Ladies and gentlemen, Jakarta was the capital of Indonesia until the law number 3 2022 was established early of this year. And now we focus as the global business city. Jakarta, we contribute for the national GDP around 17%. And if we together with our neighborhood, Bekasi, Depok, Tangerang, Bekasi, totally we give the contribution for the national GDP around 24%. About the population, we have the population more than 10 million people in this city. So no wonder if we also have the huge amount of waste in Jakarta, and totally per day more than 7,000 tons per day. If we look at the data coming from the Environment Agency, here the source of waste, the biggest percentage coming from the settlement or the household. That's why to enhance the role of the community level is very important to help us to reduce the waste from its source. That's why we established the Governor Decree number 77/2020 about the waste management within the community level. And next, if we look at the data about the waste composition, the biggest percentage coming from the food waste, around 53%. To tackle the unorganic waste, we have more than 3,000 waste banks in the whole Jakarta. And to tackle the organic waste, we have more than 300 mega houses in the whole Jakarta. And I'm sure the amount will grow up in the next several years. And next, about the support for implementation, we have the policy regional regulation number 4/2019. And for operational level, we from Jakarta established 9 Governor Decree as the guidance. Next about the strategy, how we tackle about the waste problem in Jakarta. We have at the upstream strategy, at the middle, and also at the downstream. At the upstream level, we enhance the role of the community level and also the hands of the urban manager. And we control for the single-use plastic. That's why we encourage all citizens to bring their eco-friendly shopping bag. And we also develop for waste bank and also for maggots houses in all area in Jakarta. And in intermediate waste management, we upgrade the temporary station, becoming the 3R temporary station with reduce, reuse, and recycle function. And we manage also the waste at the whole area at our river, our pond, and also at coastal area. And we are still progress for the development of the ITF. Next, about the downstream, this year we progress with the landfill mining at the final disposal at Bantar Gebang, and also with the pilot project of the waste to energy. Ladies and gentlemen, next about the circular economy activities. Previously, waste is waste, and nobody wants to touch it because it doesn't have the economic value also. But now it's different. Unorganic and also organic, they have the economic value. To tackle the unorganic waste, we in Jakarta has more than 2,000 waste banks. And to improve the quality and also the quantity of the waste bank in the whole Jakarta, we collaborate with many stakeholders that help us to giving the technical assistance and also the information system. The products coming from unorganic waste are building material like roaster and also biodiesel and coenzyme, and also we export for the used cooking oil to other countries. And now the government, we established the Governor Decree number 33/2021. So it's possible for the private sector could be managed for the main waste bank. Here I would like to show you about the price list of a waste bank. So if you have any unorganic waste, you bring to the waste bank and they will pay it for you. Here we know that unorganic waste, they have the economic value and it makes a circular economic activity. Here we know that paper and any kind of plastic, metal, they have a price for each type of the material. Next, I would like to explain about how we tackle for the organic waste. Totally in Jakarta, we have more than 300 maggots houses. And to improve, we collaborate also with the stakeholders, such as Jakarta Tangguh Maggot. Maggot are very effective in reducing the organic waste. And it is very important because from the composition of waste, we know the food waste is the biggest percentage until 53%. Maggots coming from the black soldier fly, and in the cycle life of larva, between 6 to 18 days, maggots are in the growth period. So they need a lot of food waste for their consumption. That's why maggots are very effective in reducing our organic waste in Jakarta. Here is the product of the maggot. We have two types, the dry and the wet maggot. And it can be used for feeding the animals. You may try it at your home. Please give for your fishes. I'm sure that they will like it, and I tried at my home also. Next, I would like to explain about the circular economy activities from landfill mining in the final disposal at Bantar Gebang. And this year we construct the landfill mining and will start for operation at the early 2023. And the result from the landfill mining is RDF. And we collaborate with cement industry to utilize the RDF around more than 700 tons per day. Ladies and gentlemen, next I will explain about the big scale collaboration scheme known as in bahasa kolaborasi sosial berskala besar. We from DKI Jakarta, we realized that we have very limited resources. That's why we invite for all stakeholders to collaborate with us. So the platform is for accommodating for many stakeholders who would like to collaborate. Totally, we have 21 collaborators in waste sector who help us giving the technical assistance and also the information system for the citizen. Okay, now maybe this is the last presentation. Please allow me to wrap up my presentation. First, that Jakarta is committed and ready to carry out waste management from the upstream, middle, and also the downstream level. Active participation of all parties in waste management is required, and Jakarta, we ready to collaborate with various parties in improving waste management and promoting a circular economy. Okay, Ms. Megan, I think that's enough. Let's make Jakarta cleaner by collaborating and investing in the circular economy. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Afan, for your very insightful presentation. I do agree, active participation is required in a topic such as the circular economy, really. So I'm going on to the next speaker. Mr. Sano, would you like to present your slides?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang. Hello everyone. Very nice day. Okay, I think I will speak about the fundamental. This is very important and strategic occasion. So if we want to solve waste and invest in waste, there is several things that we need to understand. This is the thought from the committee. Number one, I need to think about this urban waste challenge and alternative. For me, I will always use this statement that waste is very complicated and related the stakeholder and the system. Technology, only one between all the gear in this waste management ecosystem. If the gear not function well, one of it, the small gear even, it will not work. It's like your watch. If you're missing your small gear in your watch is broken. So if we keep talking about technology, but we are not talking and addressing the others, it's impossible to make waste management works. So one is the institution, is it capable enough? Number two, the finance, is it proper? Number three, the operational, is it already the right technology? The policy and regulation, is it enforced or not? And then stakeholder participation. So technology that solving waste is already available. It's not the problem about technology, not at all. We already a lot of technology and option, it's abundance there. The problem that we need to solve together is the governance. Number one is the law enforcement. Number two, the partnership mechanism. Number three, financing that proper and also fair. This is very important. You can imagine currently all stakeholders in Indonesia, not only Jakarta, focusing on planting the trees. It means choosing the technology. Planting the technology, planting the technology. But we are always forget to make sure that the soil are healthy. We are forget to make sure that the soil healthy enough or not. Number two, is it enough sun or not? Is it enough water or not? It will be always impossible to grow a tree without a good ecosystem. So number one, the soil is the law enforcement itself, and the partnership is the water, and the proper finance is the sunlight. It's very basic. So I'm asking all of us, the stakeholder, let's work on it together. Because without it, if we are talking about money and investment, its abundance already available. To make it feasible, that's the challenge. This is just an example. We have one law, 2 government regulation, 3 presidential regulation, 17 ministerial regulation, even Provinsi DKI Jakarta have also regulation, but we are missing the strategy to enforce. So it's just a paper on the table, but it's not happening on the ground. So let's talk about how we can help the government to implement the law that's already very beautiful and proper. Let's example, every household have the obligation. It's not about education and ajakan, apa ajakannya? It's obligation. It means if you don't do it, it will be a consequence. So this is very important. I learned a lot about waste from another country. The most important part, the foundation, is law enforcement. Open dumping should be closed. We already have the law that 5 years after the law signed, open dumping should be closed. Without that, there is no urgency to solve in a proper and responsible way. So this is the chapter 2 about us. Waste for Change is a company. We are a waste management company that offering responsibility. So currently our client always talk that Waste for Change price, or even my colleague here, that our price is expensive. No, I said we are not expensive. Our price is compliance and compliant and responsible. The other is part of the problem because they only collect and dump. Dump where? We don't know. So this is the problem. This is us. We have a lot of consultation work. We are working with USAID. We are working with World Bank, GIZ, UNDP, JICA. We are offering our consultation. Even we are working with Jakarta, a lot of consultation, master plan, and everything. We do also education. What I love is bring people to the landfill to see how big the scale of the problem. If we are talking waste, but in this hotel, we cannot see the big problem. But if I bring you in the landfill, we really see that this is not easy to solve. The collect service, we are collect. Indonesia collection rate, Indonesia, not Jakarta. Jakarta is 94% collection rate. But Jakarta, Indonesia, the government said it's 60%. I do believe the number is lower than that. Yeah, maybe not reach 50%. The collection is very important. It's the first place that we need to do. Without 100% collection, the waste will be leakage to the environment, to the river, to the ocean, open burning. That's create the problem. And then we have also create service. We are manage the waste that we collect. Mostly are sorting. The recycling capacity in Indonesia quite huge enough. Water price in Indonesia quite low compared to German and everything. That's why recycling industry quite massive in Indonesia. In fact, we are importing waste from Europe, importing waste from Australia, importing waste from United States, but local sourcing is not fit because still a lot homework that need to be done. So what we do, this is what we do. Waste for Change position to stakeholder number one is transforming and increasing the interaction. We are talking with government, we are talking with the financial institution, because we need to fit together between all the stakeholders. Number two, facilitating the financial institution. Last year, we are launching about waste credit mechanism. We got client from United States, we got client from Europe and everything to help to operate the financing of waste problem. Number three, connecting stakeholder and financial institution. This is what we do. Chapter 3, the future of potential waste management in Jakarta. I think we need to embrace circularity and sustainability. This is must have done in Jakarta. Is one city that lead Indonesia also. Number two, we need also to embrace digitalization and cashless society, transparency. Because transparency can make all the player is not compliant and not responsible, will be not exist, yeah. Everyone will compete in the same level of competition. Number three, just transition. We need to make sure all the player is transition in a better way and responsibility. You can imagine the market for technology, 18.3 billion only to solve plastic. And the market for operational services to solve plastic 1.8 up to 2.2 billion per year. We are entering this market. And then for the trading of material, plastic, 10 billion per year. This is Indonesia data. This is Indonesia data. Chapter 4, I think we need to learn from the highway industry. Highway, it's already mature enough that a lot of player that private sector working with the government. Government create the guidance, how the private sector can work in this issue. In waste, currently, there is no guidance for us as a private sector. I want to invest. We want to invest in Jakarta. Billion of dollar or million of dollar, but there is no clear guidance. This is our advocation. Number one, let's create a credit-worthy waste master plan. Yeah, should be bankable. Without it, impossible to sustain. Number two, enabling mechanism of enforcing the waste regulation. Number three, let's fix a proper and fair retribution system. People should pay. If you generate waste, you should pay. Generate a lot, you pay a lot. If you manage your own waste, you pay less. It's fair. Number four, there is need a clear guidance from the central government on the private sector collaborate with the city level. Without it, it's really hard for us as a private sector. Thank you very much. We are ready to invest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sano, for that very, very interesting presentation. I think we can take away at least one phrase that you said: every aspect must work together to create a responsible waste management system. And with that, I'm moving on to Mr. Ernest now to present your slides.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ernest Lehman. I think Megan already introduced a little bit about myself. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ecosystem. So I started the company with my co-founder Joshua. Back then, we learned about waste management related topics starting in November 2018. Back then, there is no ecosystem at all. We just learned two individuals that interest about waste management and waste problems in Indonesia and figure out how the solution we can focus on to help the improvement of the waste management and waste value chain in Indonesia. And we just started to seriously working about ecosystem in end of 2019. Back then, like 2 months before COVID pandemic. Previously, we are just a company that provide machine to process organic waste into biogas at that time before we pivoted into the model that we provide a platform to improve the recycling and segregating activity from the sources, like an application, and one of them is our reverse vending machine, that the IoT-based machine learning to identify certain type of waste and give incentive from the users. I think we already hear a lot of insight, a lot of background about waste problems from two previous speakers. So in this case, what I want to share is about some practice or successful practice on the ground about how the innovation can tap into this market. So what I will tell maybe more on the example that how we can improve the waste management and how we can create a disruption or innovation within the industry. And then I think we already know like landfills in Indonesia is one of the most preferred solution. Most of the waste goes there, and one of the big problem why it's just simply using landfills is because there is no integrated waste management process from the beginning, where most of the waste that already collected from the beginning is already mixed up, non-segregated, hard to be processed based on the types, and just goes to the landfills. So what the role of the ecosystem is, we provide an app, an app that web and mobile app. The web is more on for the building management, real estate developers that already want to start their responsible waste management journey. We don't want to push or ask building management or real estate developers that don't want to apply that. I think it's too much effort for doing that, but we want to embrace the customers or stakeholders that already want to start and help them how to start. So that's our role. And the second one is for the individual users. Not only the housing complex or buildings that already want to start, we also help the individual users that already segregate their waste, get access where to recycle their waste. Get access if they want to start composting. Get access if they want to send it into the black soldier fly. So our role is more on the enabler for the current stakeholders that already want, and also give access for everyone to start managing waste responsibly. So the operation model of our model is like a hub and spoke model. So we establish like a stations or empowering the local waste bank to become the place to source all the segregated waste from the municipalities. And then after that, brought it into the big hub, like the role of the material recovery facility or TPS 3R, that the role is to segregate waste up to the types that can be accepted by the recycling center to increase the absorption to the recycling rate, to trace the data, to generate the credit, like a plastic credit, recycling credit for the brand owners, and also last but not least the pre-processing activities to reduce costs like pressing or shredding to create a better weight per volume or value per volume. And then I think I will share a simple video to make it like more more light, the material that I share about the process that what we are doing. Sorry, the text in bahasa, so yeah, just see the video. So there's two types, pick up or drop point. So we help everyone that already segregate the waste in our coverage area to recycle with us. And also help business that already want to start the responsible waste management. And this is the drop point to open access in every location that haven't have any waste bank to empower everyone can recycle their waste responsibly. This is the process where we can segregate the type of waste that can be accepted before it's sent into the pre-processing activities like shredding, pressing, and those types. For the interest of time, I will maybe next to the next slide. about each solution that we provide. One is the waste station. It's like a bigger container. It's portable, can be adjusted into the location that haven't get access about the waste bank or location for collecting the recyclable waste. So we encourage every location, sub-district that haven't had any place for recycle to can get access for them. Like just the process is just in public places or open spaces where they have a location like just 4x2 to set up these portable waste stations. And it's encourage user to start recycling by just using a single stream recycling. They can mix all the recyclables, find in the app where's the location of the station itself, and just put in their Unicode to identify the waste, and our waste workers will measure and identify the waste. And the reward, it will be given to their app about the e-wallet that can convert it into the several registered e-wallet. And then the second one is, maybe you can also experience it upfront in our booth, is our reverse vending machine. The role of the reverse vending machine to train the machine learning to identify the waste. Yes, the one thing is to collect waste and educate people to start segregating in the public places, but another thing is to also train the machine learning that can identify several types of waste from the beginning. Because by submitting the right waste, we capture like the picture, we train what type it is, from what brand, for the further development of the brand initiative or the government initiative to segregate and identify the waste. And the process is very simple for the education of the users, but the key is how we can train as early as the machine to create like the tailor-fit technology for Indonesia, MRF or TPS to identify the certain type of waste and increase the recovery. And how it used, it's very simple, to be honest. It's just like this video. Scan the barcode and to make it get connected, the IoT Rebox and the app. And then just put it the bottle of the plastic, the waste, and get rewarded after that. And it will be identified what type it is, from what brand. So as simple as that. But the key is training the machine learning to create like the technology on the set of data that can be tailor-fit into the Indonesian market. And then this is just some example of the participation from the users that already want to start doing recycling with us. And this is some of the projects, the use case. We collaborate with the MRT Jakarta. Since we operated, we already successfully recycled around 41.6 tons of waste by establishing the waste station to open for public, like the reverse vending machine, and also handling the recyclable waste from each stations in Jakarta area. Not only the public places, we also collaborated with the residential area. One of them is in North Jakarta, in PIK. So we started to educate the user and also encourage the developer start to provide the segregated waste bin, like the organic, recyclables, and residual. And we also open in their public places our reverse vending machine, waste station, to empower every visitors, not only the residents, start doing recycling. And we already recycled around 125 tons of waste recycled. And other projects with Electronic City, with other brands that also want to encourage people to start recycling and manage waste responsibly. And this is also another rewards. The points not only go to e-wallet, but can be converted into the voucher for their purchase and more benefits for them. And the pickup activity for recyclables, we provide the reusable bag, so they do not create another plastic to start recycling, and it's traceable for everyone to register into our service and manage their waste responsibly. And we also encourage the partners that also already want to start manage waste responsibly, like our waste pickup vendors even sometimes can provide the electric bike, electric vehicle. We help them to connect it to the real estate developer that already want to start implementing like the less carbon of waste management services to encourage this kind of initiative, and hopefully can be also inspire other housing complex or real estate developers to start doing this and ensure it's traceable in our dashboard. and also, create numbers that good enough for the workers. Currently, the income of the waste workers is more than 3 times versus they are doing the conventional one. We also have the recovery rate of the waste to be recycled into 3 times more productive compared into the place that haven't implemented the segregation from the sources. And then we already start to recycle around 1.7 thousand metric tons of waste since our launch last year. In 1.5 years we are operating. I think that's it from Ecosystem. I hope it can encourage more people to start create innovation to manage waste responsibly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest, for telling us about Ecosystem's solution in managing waste responsibility in Jakarta. I think here we can see kind of the example of how digitalization and technology has helped as well Jakarta in its circular economy journey as well. I'm going to invite, last but not least, Ms. Nurdiana to present her slides.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting me as well to this, among the other very exemplary panelists as well. So it's kind of hard to be the 4th presenter because it's after 30 minutes. I'm sure you just want to get over with. So I'll try to make it really, really short and simple for you all, but make it understandable as well. So let me just quickly introduce you Unilever Indonesia. So Unilever itself is 133 years old, but in Indonesia we've been here for 88 years old. So close to 89 actually in this November, and we have quite a number of brands. We have 43 brands, and we employ over 4,900 people. We also deploy all our products across Indonesia in about over 3,000 trucks on a daily basis. So you can imagine the type of supply chain effort and the operations that we have on the ground on a daily basis. Some of our brands, I hope that in all your households, you have at least one of our brands in your household. We have our jewels, Kecap Bango, Sariwangi, Molto, Magnum, and the likes. But of course, you understand that these products come to you and that you enjoy these products in the secured and safe products and quality that you enjoy in a packaging. And that packaging is mostly plastics, is what we provide to you. So, with Unilever and Unilever Indonesia, when we present our products to you, we want to make sure that you, as I said before, that you enjoy it, the quality and the assurance that it's of good quality. But we understand that in delivering these products to you, we do have a footprint, a carbon footprint, as well as plastic footprint. And so globally, we have what we call Unilever Compass. The Unilever Compass is our guidance, is our North Star in guiding us to remain a business that is sustainable. And within the Unilever Compass, we have 3 pillars. The first is improving the health of the planet. Second is improving people's health, confidence, and well-being. And the third is contributing to a fairer, more socially inclusive world. Now, within the improving the health of the planet, we have commitment to make sure that we contribute to a waste-free world. And the waste-free world does comprise of commitments for plastics-free, but also waste-free programs as well. Now, particularly for plastics, we have 4 commitments that by 2025 we will cut the use of our virgin plastic by, sorry, this is very sensitive. We will cut the use of our virgin plastic in half. This is an absolute reduction of 100,000 tons of plastic globally. And the second commitment is to use 100% reusable, recyclable, or compostable packaging in all our products. The third is to collect and process more than we sell in markets that we have presence. And the fourth is to increase the use of PCR by at least 25% in our packaging. Now, you can imagine that these commitments actually do relate to one another. If you can see the first, the second, and the fourth, they are actually what we call the demand side of the commitment. When Unilever or other FMCGs create commitments that demand recycled resin, we hope that the industry then will respond to collecting and providing recycled resin for us. While we have three that demand recycled resin, one of our commitments, the collect and process and recycle, that is our commitment to help in terms of collecting back the products that we put into the market, but also everyone else's products as well. So this is what we look at when we say circular economy. When we say that it's a circular economy, it actually comprises of three streams: the upstream, the midstream, and the downstream. The upstream for Unilever is where we generate our products, our packaging. And that includes on how we think about how we can make the packaging a lot more friendlier to the environment, but also still provide the necessary safety and assurance for the consumers to still continue to enjoy the products. When we say we have programs in the upstream, is when we introduce the three objectives. One is less plastic, better plastic, or no plastic. When we say less plastic, you can tell on the right-hand side is a sample of our packaging that is shrunk in size or thinner in its film of plastic, but still making sure that it's still safe to deliver the products to you in the household. When we say better plastic, this is the plastic that when we say we use recycled resin in our packaging. For example, our kecap bango, our Sunlight, they are now actually contained in 100% recycled PET bottles. So you can enjoy the products, but also be quite assured that it comes from a recycled resin, it comes from recycled products, recycled plastic as well. And when we say no plastic, we are introducing our refill programs. We are introducing our home care products in refill stations, but also introducing such a toothbrush, such as a Pepsodent, a toothbrush that is made of wood, recycled FSC wood, instead of plastic-made toothbrushes. Midstream. Midstream is all about collection, but it's also about education. We've heard from the other panelists, education is so important. Education and generating education is necessary to really engage our consumers to be responsible in disposing the plastic packaging. Now we have a program that's called Generasi Pilah Plastik. This is a call to the community and our consumers to be very cognizant of what you do with the plastic packaging. So you don't throw the packaging just abruptly, but you dispose the packaging into waste banks, into drop boxes. Now, Unilever Indonesia, we have 4,000 we have 4,000 waste banks throughout Indonesia, and we have 100 drop boxes in Eastern Java, but also in Jakarta as well. Now, of the 4,000 waste banks that we have, 800 of our waste banks are actually now available in the Google search. So if you go into Google search and then you look up Bank Sampah, most likely you will find one of our waste banks network. This is all to make it easy for the consumers and to engage them to return our packaging back into the waste banks. But not just our packaging, we also accept other FMCGs, other packagings as well, whether it's plastic, whether it's non-plastic. But that is all in the effort to really engage our consumers, to be active in segregating at source, mostly in their households, but also then be responsible and getting them engaged and returning them to end up disposing them properly at the waste banks. Downstream. Downstream is what you do with the plastic that's been collected. We have three channels. One is packaging to packaging. For example, here is our Rinso packaging. Our Rinso packaging now contains a recycled PE content that came from flexibles, not just Unilever's flexibles, but any flexibles, and it's being processed now in East Java, in Surabaya, in Sidoarjo. It's called our Kriasoft plant. This is a novice technology. It's a pilot technology that we have, technically proven, but it's still commercially challenged. However, we have proven that recycling from flexibles back into flexible is viable, is possible. So that is one way that we maintain the circularity and economic value of the plastic in our packaging. The second is working with the LHDKI, but also Sklusi Bank Indonesia, to make use of the plastic packaging that are now residing or sitting in the landfill. Now we make use of it by collaborating with the LHDKI and also SBI to make the use of them in the refuse-derived fuel energy transformation. Is that circular economy? To some extent it is a circular economy. That is not wasted, that it is now used to replace coal, which we know is a lot more harmful for the environment. And the third is upcycling and downcycling the plastic packaging that we've gotten from our waste banks or our partners. This is necessary, again, to introduce the circularity and economic value and retain economic value of plastic, that it is worth keeping it in the economy, and it can also generate jobs for communities, but also jobs for other people as well. As I mentioned, changing behavior is the most important aspect of the plastic issue, and Unilever is committed to really still invest in a lot of behavioral change programs. For example, we continue to advocate for generasi pilah plastic. It's not enough that we just do this, for a year or so. We are continuously working on engaging more and more communities. We engage with our brand Rinso, also engage Antar Aja from March to July of this year in order to collect back 59, almost 60,000, if I'm not mistaken, 60,000 tons, no, 6,000 tons. 60,000 tons, sorry, 60,000 tons of plastic in just a span of 4 months. That's incredible. But that is if we engage the communities, and also we engage and collaborate with other partners as well. And of course, we also are mainstreaming our refill stations into our waste banks. If you come and have a look at waste banks, you might find our refill stations as well in our waste banks. And the third is to create a hassle-free recycling habit by providing drop boxes, 100 drop boxes throughout Jakarta and East Java, available for everyone to help and return our plastic packaging, not just ours, but everyone else's as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nardiana, for telling us about Unilever's various approaches to sustainability and circularity. And I especially liked your remark about the education of the waste value chain and how this is super important in implementing a circular economy as well. And with that, thank you all my speakers for presenting the very, very insightful presentations that you just did. And now we'd like to go to the panel discussion. And for all of you here as well, if you have any questions, do keep them in mind. If we have enough time, we might go to the floor for questions as well. But my first question for today is from Mr. Afan, really. You earlier talked about the various waste management approaches in Jakarta. So what is the main roadmap for sustainable waste management in Jakarta to build a better Jakarta, and really what are the biggest challenges in implementing this?
Okay, thank you very much, Megan. In order to support the effort to reduce the waste in Jakarta, we have the regulation or the policy, the regulation number 4/2019 about the waste management, and for operational, we established the Governor Decree number 96/2020 about waste management roadmap, and also the Waste Management Master Plan 2020-2039. The Governor Decree number 127/2020. The roadmap contains for programs, strategic activities, and also the target of Waste Management Action Plan. And we commit to reduce the waste until 30% by 2025 with an integrated waste management approach from the upstream, in the middle, and also at the downstream. And the biggest challenge is it's not easy to change the habit of the citizen in Indonesia to reducing and also sorting the waste from its source. But even hard, we also have the success story at the Jakarta Recycle Center in Pesanggerahan, and also at Sunter Agung, where the residents have 100% sort out waste at the source. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you so much, Mustafa, for that. I think also, what you said in terms of it being a challenge through changing habits of people is something that was echoed by Ms. Nurdiana as well. I'd like to go to Mr. Sano, really. And, we just talked about people, but we also know that people are increasingly concerned, I hope, are increasingly concerned as well about the production of waste and its effect, and are seeking ways to deal with the problem as well. So in your opinion, how can we deal with that problem and the challenge in overcoming this?
Yeah, I think it's very clear in my presentation and message that into the social engineering side about behavior change, there is an equation said that behavior change is M multiplied by A multiplied by T. M is motivation, A is ability, T is trigger. So I believe if we are talking about the ability of the society to sort the waste, it's very easy to sort the waste. It's not problem about ability. I think we need to increase the motivation and the trigger. And the trigger, for me, number one, is also always education and campaign. And I believe we already do a lot of things about it. And this is something that we, as a society, can do, can be part of it, to educate, campaign, and everything. But in the side of the other coin is the law enforcement. We think about this COVID-19. Without law enforcement, I believe many people are very reckless not using the mask. But because we have a structural mechanism like Peduli Lindungi, we have also something that need to comply. So I still believe within all a reference base, all the study case that we already observe, one thing that missing in Indonesia is the law enforcement. So we need a very clear strategy how to create the mechanism of enforcing this. Because sorting the waste is obligation. Creating a facility in kawasan itu apa ya? In area, it's also obligation in the law. Every area must have a facility to manage waste. It's obligation. So with that clear enforcing, there will be no needs, no urgency in the society. Why? Because throw the waste to the river are free. Because to burn the waste, open burning also are free. So this is very challenging for government. So we need to support and help government. But I do a big hope because we are already on a very technology society, communication society. Currently also traffic, it's already clever to create an online tilang. E-tilang. So if you not obey the traffic jam, you will be fined automatically because you will get spotlight and everything. I do believe technology, one of the solution, information technology and everything, and make it transparent. So we need to invest more on make the soil healthy, the law enforcement. Number two, how to create a clear guidance between private sector and government to work together, learning from the highway industry. Number three, for me, is very clear and fair and proper financing. I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sano. I think what you said about the motivation and ability and trigger is It's going to stay in my mind for a long time. So in terms, I want to go back a little bit more into the education bit, because as we know, the education of the youth as well is super important, and that will lead into green jobs as well in the future. I wanted to turn to Mr. Ernest about this. The whole term of green jobs, there's such a great broad spectrum here. Tell us about what you think about the challenges and future outlooks of green jobs in Indonesia, especially when it comes to the circular economy.
Okay, thank you for the... Check. Okay, yeah, thank you for the... Thank you for the question. I think related about the opportunity, I think the opportunity is huge. I think as already mentioned with all the speakers here, that there is like the regulation already there. So the push and the direction how the waste management, the circular economy should be done ideally is already there. The challenge is how it can translate into the enforcement that can make the execution and also the action is really driven, because there is like the enforcement for every regulation that already met. Because every driver usually drive whether from the incentive or disincentive. Like the enforcement can create both of things, right? Whether the disincentive, like if you are not doing like the regulation or the plan for implementing responsible waste management, you will get a fine or you get a penalty, and there is a push for them to do that. Same also like the incentive, whether like the valuable recyclables, if you are segregated, there is like a direct incentive, whether it's direct money or certain case like discount for your retribution or anything else. So I think the real implementation is the challenge. But the opportunity, I think, is quite huge, because the government already realized about that, and everyone maybe already realized there is something right to do. But because there is no enforcement, okay, so still a long way to go. We can do business as usual or operation as usual because it's beneficial for us. But if we have already same understanding and driven by the enforcement that translate into the disincentive and the right incentive, which is right incentive is not like everyone can get into the become a money. No, not all the waste is highly valued. Sometimes we also need to do pay. But the right incentive means like the right driver to segregate the right recyclable waste, and the disincentive is the right penalty if you are not pay or being responsible for hard to recycle waste because of your overconsumption habitual or behavior. So that's the challenge that we need to face. But I think like having like the big brands like even Unilevers, and also like the expert like Sano, and also like all the innovations have been there creating like the solution in their expertise area. I think, yeah, people already move towards that direction to create the provide access the access for driving the circularity or the circular economy. Now is how we also can push like the barrier or the challenge also can be solved. Then the right incentive and disincentive can be happen and realized in Indonesia. I think that's my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest, and apologies for that as well. No, super interesting perspectives you shared there, and I think again pulling back to the whole people's behavior, is really important in making a change in this topic that we're talking about. So I wanted to go to Ms. Nurdiana here. I know you spoke a little bit about Generasi Plastic, which is a super interesting program that invites people to actively participate in managing waste. So tell us about the story behind this initiative, and really what is the community's response to this program?
Thank you, Megan. So Generasi Plastic, we came up with Generasi Plastic because we saw that it's very difficult to engage people to segregate at source, right? And yes, I do also agree with Sano and Ernest that enforcement needs to happen, but also calling to people to make them understand why it's necessary for them to segregate at source and mostly at home. It's so necessary. And it gives them, we need to present to them also the incentives of them collecting and segregating at source and then also put it back into the circular economy. So the Generasi Pilah Plastik is to advocate and ask people to join and understand, one, why it's necessary to segregate at source. Second, what are the benefits for them to segregate at source, you know, health benefit, economic benefit, and so forth. But third, also to understand that it's up to them, really. Circular economy can only happen if people participate in the circular economy. And people here, I mean, is in general sense, us as consumers, but also government as the enforcers. But people need to understand circular economy will not happen. Only linear economy, as we've seen for the past, I don't know, 100 years, where we have benefited in linear economy. That can't happen any longer. We have to really understand that only circular economy will make sustainable living commonplace. And that is the calling that we're asking communities to really engage. And we've been quite fortunate that around 40,000 people were actively participated in our Generasi Pilah Plastik calling. And I just like to also rectify the numbers that I mentioned before with Rinso and Antar Aja collaboration. We engaged 60,000 people just with the Antar Aja collaboration. And we collected 84 tons of plastic. And that's in a span of 4 months. Imagine if we can do this, not just Unilever and Rinso and Antar Aja, but other companies collaborating with Gojek, with Grab, with you, with Waste for Change. I think it needs to be a very collaborative effort, and everybody needs to put their investment, and investment in this case is not just money, but it really is time and patience in really driving this transformation happen.
Thank you, Ms. Nordiniana. I'm actually going to stay with you for just one more question here, because we're talking about people. I'm going to move on to a bit more technical after this, actually. So for those in the crowd who are thinking of implementing the circularity into their businesses, how would you say to start to implement such a process in a business, and what are the benefits for them? Yes.
So how they start, it's very easy. It's just to segregate at home. So if you can't segregate, 6 or 8, how they do it in Japan, segregate in 2 boxes or 2 separate boxes. One is plastic and the others are the rest. Or if you like to be more challenged, separate the 3. Paper and other material, paper and boards in one box, plastic, and then the others. I know DKI Jakarta also in my area, in my airway, they segregate for food waste. So in my home, I segregate my food waste, and that's being collected every day. So making it a habit, I think, is what's necessary. And I think it just feels good doing it, that you feel that you've become more responsible for your own waste. It does feel very good, actually. But of course, making it a habit is the most challenging. But I assure you that if you start segregating and then you find the nearest bank sampah, the nearest waste banks, and you start selling your waste to your waste banks, you can actually start to feel good about being responsible, but also making, maybe not a huge amount of money that you might think, but it still is. There is still economic reason, economic benefit to really putting back your waste into the waste banks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nordiana, for that. I hope the audience took away, good tips on that. I know that Mr. Sano has to leave by 3 p.m., so I'm going to have one more question for him. Are you going now? Okay. All right. All right, maybe I'll go to Mr. Ernest then. We're talking about organic waste disposal here. We know that there's a huge problem due to the modern society soaring consumption. So on the other hand, it will also be quite an attractive and low-cost renewable alternative energy and solution as well. So in relation to biogas plants, what are your thoughts about the future development of this in Indonesia? And can it be an interesting solution to deal with organic waste?
Okay, I think Okay, I think it's different compared to the recyclable waste like plastic, cardboard that are already highly valued in the waste value chain. I think organic waste is the type of waste that is like a new emerging sector that can be potentially valued and also improve the productivity of the waste value in the supply chain. So to convert the organic waste into the valuable byproducts, I think there is several solution. I think biogas is one of the solution for wet waste or that highly that has that contain a lot of methane, but also there is several types of the innovation that we can take a look. The simplest one, I think, for the wet waste is the black solar fly to the maggot. I think Pak Avan already shared. DKI also pushed that kind of the initiative. I think that's the right solutions. Low cost implementation can be converted into the animal feed that can be used for several of the agro livestock business or several industries, and can be applicable anywhere, even in the residential area. So that's the one solution on top of the biogas. Another things also like composting, especially for the combination of the wet and the dry waste, because it's also can be done in the societies. I think biogas, yes, is the solution for the industrial, but I think it's the several steps need to be done in Indonesia landscape, because it's produce energy, how is the purchase power agreement with the PLN, let's say, and where is the location, the right location to be centralized. But in Indonesia itself, we need to take a look about decentralized solution, like the black solar fly, or composting, that can be done in the society and make the right standard. So it's not only be the byproducts from the process is not only used for the society, but also can be used for the industrial standard. I think that's my point of view related about the organic. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ernest, for providing that light on organic waste disposal here in Jakarta. I want to go to Mr. Afan, and actually this will be our last question just because I saw the prompter already. In terms of electrical waste, all of us here use so many electrical, consumer products every day. And this is basically the fastest growing global manufacturing activity, in Indonesia, I'm sure globally as well. And this development has resulted in such an increase of waste in electric and electronic equipment as well. So how does the Jakarta government manage e-waste?
Okay, thank you, Megan. We from DKI Jakarta Provincial Government, we have the program for electronic waste. First, about the program e-waste pickup service. All the citizens, they have to register online at the website of the Environment Agency, and they will get verification by email, and next our officer will confirm the time for the pickup session. And next, we also providing for drop box collection at some area at the major office in 5 offices, and also at the Transjakarta bus shelter. Totally, we have 36 drop box collection. And the third program is cooperating with the third party, with the private sector, that they have the permission from the central government. Okay, I think enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Afan. And with that, I think we have run out of time. I'd like to thank all our distinguished speakers here, Ms. Nudiana, Mr. Ernest, Mr. Afan, and Mr. Sano, who had to leave. And I hope that everyone here had a very good session and still learning about Jakarta or Indonesia's, circular economy, the roadmaps on how we get there. I think all of us agree that, a couple of approaches are needed to work at the same time, not only education of the public, regulations and legislations as well being implemented and enforced as well. Companies and businesses getting into circular economy, knowing the importance of that, and last but not least, really financial institutions as well, investments being brought into these solutions. And with that, I'd like to say thank you again to all the audience here and the virtual attendees as well, and Jakarta Investment Forum for putting this panel together. I think we need to take a photo. Do you guys want a photo? Yeah? Okay. just sit? Do we just sit here or? Oh, stand up. Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With that, that's the end of the waste management session. After this, we're gonna have funding infrastructure with British Embassy session. We will kindly ask you to take a seat because the program will start shortly. Aku mau ngambil.